Oh, this guy right here.
This kid?
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. Right here.
Go hit him. Well, not hit him, but...
Stop! Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
What happened? So that's not our guy? No.
A bank was robbed in Boulder, Colorado, but thankfully, the bank robber didn't even have a getaway car. He had to take the bus. And then he stopped off at a Starbucks to relax for a while. But as the bank robber is sipping on his latte, the cops are outside chasing an innocent high school kid on his bicycle who is late for his haircut.
What they told our client is you matched the exact description of the bank robber, which he didn't.
That's not him. 1249 at 13th Street.
And you were at the exact location of the tracker, which he wasn't.
Hi, Mom. This is kind of a serious situation. I just got falsely identified as a bank robbery, so I don't know, person, and the police came and tackled me off my bike.
Did you tackle him specifically?
Get on the ground. Get on the ground. I'm not able to provide all that information, sir.
Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it.
Okay? I wouldn't change it for anything.
I think I got him, maybe.
1370 College, most percent.
I think I got eyes on him.
Where?
Go left. I think he's on College, going westbound. I'm not positive, though.
Yeah, right here.
220, he's going to be at the Starbucks coffee on an e-bike. Go, left on.
Get him on the compound. Grab him.
Not yet, actually, no. Sorry. Here, stop, let me out. Stop! Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
What happened?
Get back.
What did I do?
220, we are under the bridge, Broadway College. He's on the ground right now.
Got him.
We were contacted by Leo's father shortly after this incident saying that his son had been mistaken for a bank robber and had been tackled in a bicycle underpass.
On June 5th, 2025, local high school student Galileo Wise, he goes by Leo, was riding his bicycle to a scheduled haircut appointment headed towards the barbershop. He was wearing a tan sweatshirt, teal pants, and a black bicycle helmet that covered his face. At the same time, Boulder Police Department officers were responding to a bank robbery that had occurred at approximately 2:33 p.m. that day at the U.S. Bank branch located on 28th Street in Boulder. This was not the heist of the century. The suspect only walked out with $2,200, and there was no allegation that the bank robber was armed with a weapon. Numerous BPD officers were searching for the robbery suspect based on radio updates that provided both the description of the suspect as well as his real-time location via a surreptitious tracking device that had been given to the robber with the stolen cash.
Someone did rob a bank across town in Boulder. It doesn't seem like there was any weapon and only $2,200 was taken, but there was a tracker in the money. You can hear on the police radio exactly where the bank robber is actually moving based on the location of this tracker. The police don't know if he's in a vehicle or on foot or on bicycle or an e-bike. Obviously, the police are going to go look for the bank robber, and that makes good sense. And they immediately talked with the bank personnel and had a photo of the suspect from the bank. The description of the bank robber was that he was wearing a lime green shirt and clear glasses, and that he had tan skin. Turns out, my paralegals sort of cracked the case, if you will, and figured out if you look at where the tracker went, it exactly followed a bus route that goes right by the bank that was robbed to where the confrontation actually happened. But the police, didn't know at the time. All they knew is that they had a suspect with a lime green shirt and clear glasses and tan skin. What seems to happen is the bank robber took the bus across town and then went into a Starbucks nearby where this incident happened. And we think that because the tracker was stopped for 2 full minutes at this location of the Starbucks before our client was tackled. So any reasonable, diligent officer would not have been looking for someone moving on a bicycle, which was our client's case, but would have looked for someone who was stopped. One of the police officers in his police car was driving down the street and saw someone that he said literally greenish. I see someone greenish. And, they decided that was enough. Someone's on a bike and he's wearing something greenish. We're going to stop him. So they do. They run at my client from both directions of this tunnel, yell at him to stop. He's startled. He does, slows his bike to a stop. His hands are on the brakes. And then the cops tackle him to the ground.
What happened? Get back. 220, we are under the bridge, Broadway College. He's on the ground right now.
Got him.
Causing his head to hit the ground, and then cut his backpack off him, handcuff him. Realized pretty quickly that this, greenish person who they found was not the bank robber. Our client bore no resemblance at all to the description that the police were provided on their radio. He was wearing teal pants and a gray sweatshirt, a gray hoodie. So, he didn't have on a lime green shirt. He didn't have on clear glasses. He didn't have tan skin. Didn't match the suspect at all. And ultimately, that's why we brought the case, because while it is true that in a situation like a bank robbery, you do expect the police to, go look hard to try to find the bank robber, they can't just indiscriminately stop people and throw them off their bike or, throw them to the ground. They actually have to have, at a minimum, reasonable suspicion. And in this case, since they handcuffed him and read him his Miranda rights, they actually have to have probable cause for the stop. And that was just lacking here.
Back to the video in just a moment, but first I want to tell you about my sponsor, ZocDoc. ZocDoc, today's sponsor, is a free website that lets you search and compare local in-network doctors, and that's my favorite part. I actually had a freak accident about a week ago. As you may recall, I was in Florida. Because it was so hot, I was wearing flip-flops. I had my laptop with me so that I could get some work done. Well, I forgot to zip the laptop case, and as I'm walking out the door, the laptop comes flying out of the case, and it hurls towards the ground, and the corner of the laptop just slams directly into one of my toes on my right foot. So I needed to go to the doctor and fast, but it's not easy to find the right doctor who just happens to be covered in your health plan while you're traveling. And that's the beauty of ZocDoc. They have more than 150,000 providers within 200 plus specialties across all 50 states. It was super easy. ZocDoc's website does it all for you. It has tons of reviews with real patients and detailed doctor profiles to help you choose the right ones. You can instantly see actual appointment openings and just click to instantly book a visit, and they happen fast, usually within 24 to 72 hours. Sometimes you can even get a same-day appointment like I did. This is completely free to use. Taking care of your health doesn't have to be difficult. Head to ZocDoc.com/civil rights lawyer to find and instantly book a top-rated doctor today. Thanks so much to ZocDoc for sponsoring this video and helping us all take better care of our health. Now let's get back into it. At the very same time that the tracking device was stationary on College Avenue between 13th and 14th Street, which was the Starbucks location, Leo was riding his bicycle through the tunnel under Broadway towards the bicycle racks on campus. Unlike the suspect with the tracking device, he had not been stationary at any time at this area during his ride. The bank robber suspect was described on police radio as having tan skin and wearing a green shirt with glasses on his face.
Tan skin, sunglasses, green shirt.
While speeding northwest on Broadway in the hopes of encountering the bank robber,
Tracker at 943 Broadway.
a police vehicle approached College Avenue.
1035 Broadway.
Talk to her.
Yeah.
So they're on an e-bike?
Yeah, because if they're cutting through campus, they might be on a bike. Or that's what McCauley was saying.
One of the officers pointed out that he saw a bike with someone greenish.
I saw like a bike with someone greenish going this direction.
They put like a money tracker in this thing?
Tracker 108514.
Where?
108514. 1370 call.
Right there, green shirt. Oh.
1370 College, most percent.
I think I got eyes on him.
Where?
Go left. I think he's on College going westbound. I'm not positive though.
Yeah, right here.
220 is going to be at the Starbucks coffee on an e-bike. Go, left on.
Get on the compound. Grab
Not yet, actually, no. Sorry. Here, stop, let me out.
At this time, Leo is biking through the tunnel, going underneath the vicinity of where the actual suspect is stationary inside the Starbucks. Seeing this kid on the bike who did not match the bank robber description, Officer Myers jumps out of his squad car and he races to intercept Leo at the tunnel entrance.
Here, stop, let me out. Stop!
As he was biking through the tunnel, Leo was surprised to hear police officers behind him yelling stop. When he realized that the officers are shouting at him and not somebody like behind him, he complies immediately. He slows his bicycle, he raises his hands, and he comes to a complete stop with his hands in full view on his bicycle's brake levers. Without any explanation, investigative questioning, or further orders being given, Officer Austin Myers pulls Leo Wise from his bicycle, forcefully pushes him to the ground, and he tackles him. Other officers then join into the tackle.
Get on the ground. Get on the ground.
What happened?
Get back.
Leo repeatedly asks, "What's happening and what did I do?" Three other police officers join Officer Myers in handcuffing Galileo while cutting his backpack straps in order to remove his backpack from his body.
Stop!
What did I do?
220 here under the bridge, Broadway. He's on the ground right now.
Got him.
Oh, wait, you have some sound of these. You can distract it. Just a little red thing.
Where's my max?
You have your weapons on you.
Everyone get off the radio. Everyone get off the radio.
At no point prior to or during this seizure did any of these police officers have reasonable suspicion or probable cause to detain Galileo Wise. He didn't match any of the suspect descriptions that BPD officers were given, and also he had been in motion rather than stationary in the nearby Starbucks, as the tracker indicated the actual bank robber was, for over 2 minutes. Nevertheless, the officers then detained Galileo Wise on the ground inside the tunnel for approximately 8 minutes. During the detention, the crowd of officers multiplied as approximately 10 additional police officers filed into this tunnel, prompting a senior officer to instruct the group of officers to clear the area unless they were the original responding officers.
Alright, we got a bunch of people out of here. That we're hooking them, whoever found them, I'll leave it to Myers and Mohawk.
No weapons on you?
No, sir.
Can we verify that it's gone?
Yeah, let's get the tracker going still. You got an ID on you?
I think so. I might have my school ID, but not my Colorado State ID. My dad has that.
What's that?
My dad has my Colorado State ID. I might have my school ID on me.
Where's your school ID?
It would be in my wallet in my left pocket.
Can you grab that?
Oh yeah, you can go ahead. I think my AirPods might as well be in there. If you
Good? Yeah, you good?
I was in the truck when the officer took off running. You have your work phone on
Hey,
you? You want to call West and have
Can you
him
go
send
sign
his photo from the
my training?
My phone's in the car.
I jumped out of the car because I figured he was going to go over the bridge. So I think he's still on Broadway somewhere.
What access to the tracking information did they have, or did they have any?
Someone's monitoring it, and they just tell all the officers and all the patrol cars exactly where it is every 30 seconds.
They put like a money tracker in this thing?
Tracker 108514.
Where?
108514.
Okay.
1370 calls.
Right there, green shirt.
Was there any reason to believe that the real suspect had any connection to a bicycle at all?
He was moving at faster than someone could walk, slower than you would move by car. So, he was on the bus.
At the time that they tackled your client, how far away was he from the actual suspect who had the actual tracker on him?
Where he was tackled it was in an underpass, a bicycle underpass under basically a 4-lane road that goes right by the university's campus. On one of the corners, that's where the Starbucks was, where the tracker had been for about 2 minutes. So, he wasn't terribly far from the tracker. It wasn't the exact location, and what's at that location is a Starbucks.
Were they actually given the Starbucks address?
They were told that corner. You actually hear on the body cam at one point, one of the officers says it's at the Starbucks or it's near the Starbucks.
I think I got eyes on him. Go left. I think he's on College going westbound. I'm not positive though. 220, he's gonna be at the Starbucks coffee on an e-bike. Go left on that.
So, they knew that it was right there at the coffee shop. And yeah, I do think it would have made sense for a police officer to go inside the Starbucks and look for someone in a lime green shirt and clear glasses, or someone who was, in the Starbucks acting suspiciously, someone who was just coming out of the bathroom in different clothes. But you still can't then, arrest them. You still have to have a little more probable cause. But that might be enough to start asking, or it would be enough to start asking the person some questions, which is what you actually do expect the police to do when they're trying to solve a crime.
Do you think that they seized him in a reasonable way, or did they do that excessively?
His hands are on the brakes because he's stopping his bike. And by the time the officer gets to him, the bike is stopped, but his hands are there on the brakes. So the first thing you would expect is the officer would tell him to put his hands up. There was no reason to tackle him and throw him to the ground. He couldn't have been reaching for a weapon because his hands were occupied on the brakes of the bike, and the cop was standing there right in front of the bicycle, close enough to tackle him, to throw him to the ground. So he had his hands right there. He could have just said, don't move, and, taken his hands and handcuffed him right there. But realistically, what you would have expected is they would have told him to put his hands up. And, they didn't do that.
Someone call West.
I got it.
So see where the tracker is.
Yep, perfect. Yeah, this track is from perfect. Do we know if he was
Hey, do you have a picture of this person, and if you could send it to me? And then is the tracker stationary right now?
We were tracking that, and we were tracking it to this location, so.
Okay. Where was the robbery?
Somewhere on 48.
Okay.
Okay. And then if you guys can find out if the tracker's emails.
Leo complied with everything the officers asked him to do, telling them where to find his student ID and giving them permission to take it.
I have a haircut appointment that I'm going to be late for now. I had my head on.
You hit your head?
I don't think so. Just a little confused on what's going on.
You have a rent card? Get out your rent card so we can start questioning this guy.
Also on scene was Boulder Police Sergeant Stephen Faber. The body cam footage indicates that he immediately understood that the officers under his command had not detained the correct suspect.
Let me see that. That's not him.
1249 at 13th Street.
Go around.
Copy. If we could have officers in the area continue to look.
Do we think you dropped the bag somewhere? Or do we have a...
I'm sorry. Yeah, you can go through. Just keep going. Thank you.
Is that him? So that's not our guy? No.
Despite knowing that Leo was not the bank robber, this sergeant allowed this illegal detainment to continue. Rather than immediately release him, the officers then completely gaslit Leo, telling him that there had been a bank robbery and that he looked a great deal like the description that they were provided, which was a lie. He didn't.
What's your name, man?
Galileo Wise.
Galileo?
Do you know my middle name?
No, you're good. All right, he's gonna read you something real quick, okay?
All right, Galileo, I gotta read you your rights before I ask you questions, okay? Yes, sir. You have the right to remain silent. Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law. Yes, sir. You have the right to consult a lawyer prior to questioning and have a lawyer present during questioning. You cannot hire a lawyer. A lawyer will be appointed to represent you before any question.
No, that doesn't look like him. That's not him.
All right, will you manage this?
Yeah, I think we can do that. Let me see. Yeah, this is our guy. Yeah, I think we can FI him, get his contact.
Yeah.
Like, cut him loose. You wish to talk to us about what happened today?
Do I? Yes, I would love to talk to you about it.
I'll just run right now. See if it's on.
Okay. All right, I'm gonna talk to you since he's busy. Do you know what we're talking about?
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay.
Leo attempted to explain to the officers that he was going to be late for his haircut appointment, and then he pivoted in a confused manner. He had hit his head to tell the officers that he had hit his head, and he didn't know what was going on, and he was experiencing pain. These police officers nevertheless continued to detain Leo without any medical evaluation at that time. And then, what did they do? They read him his Miranda rights, despite lacking probable cause that he had committed any crime. And even though Sergeant Faber, who was present, knew that he was not the bank robbery suspect, he allowed it.
Do you know what we're talking about?
I have no idea.
No idea. Okay. What have you been doing today? Where were you coming
I
from?
was at my house. I'm coming from my house in Lafayette to get a haircut at the barber joint. It's scheduled. My name's in the system if you'd like to ask them.
What time's the haircut at?
It's 2:45.
2:45. Okay. Where's the haircut place at?
Barber joint, Colorado. It's literally like if I was at the top of the staircase, I could point to it and you would see it.
Okay.
It's right
Why were
next to
you
the
heading
shop.
this way though?
I was just trying to stay on the sidewalks. There was a lot of traffic, and I just was trying to stay on the road.
I know. I understand that, but you were heading east towards campus when you had the appointment. That's the other way. Why were you
I
heading?
was just going to go lock my bike up. So
What's that?
I was going to lock my bike up.
You were gonna lock your bike up?
Yeah, and I was probably just going to walk through the alley. There's only one bike lock over there. Like this bike lock can be this side, but one of them's closer to
Okay.
the speeds. It's about the same bike lock.
How old are you?
I'm 17, so.
You're 17? Okay.
So, Meyer, they got a photo from the bank, apparently, and this may not be our guy.
It's not him? Can I see the photo?
His has it.
Oh, he does?
Yeah.
Doesn't look like him.
Your head okay, man?
Just a little bit dazed.
Where?
I don't know. I just hit the side of my head on the ground. I've had a lot of concussions.
Did you have the helmet on?
I said it's coming in with a green shirt down Broadway. Wearing glasses. If you don't think this is him, just gotta check it.
That's not him.
Okay.
Alright. Alright, buddy. So we're gonna get you medical attention, okay?
Oh, is this phone?
Yeah.
Get current address, phone number, and parents' phone number.
I don't know. Did you get your head? I did hit my head. It hurts pretty bad. My adrenaline's I just didn't hurt very bad at first.
I'll see you how far on like I'm gonna go with this.
All right, you got a phone number?
I did.
While Leo remained handcuffed, officers gathered at the far end of the tunnel to view a photo of the actual robbery suspect on one of the officers' phones. One by one, these officers verbally acknowledged among themselves that Galileo Wise did not resemble the suspect. Instead of apologizing or admitting their mistakes, Officer Myers provided Leo with a false explanation that he matched the suspect's description and location to justify the stop. Just straight up lying, Officer Myers told Leo that he looked a lot like the suspect, and he offered a completely fabricated description of the suspect as wearing green and tan clothing and riding a bike.
So there was a robbery at one of the banks on 28th Street, right?
Okay.
We were tracking it.
Yes, sir.
Movement is similar to that of movement on a bicycle, right?
Okay, I understand.
Subscription was like tan clothing and green clothing as well, right?
Yes, sir.
You're on a bike also, and tracking, and the tracker was tracking to you, like pretty much your exact location.
Okay, but
So that gives us reasonable suspicion, right, that you are involved in that crime, right?
Yeah.
So that's.
I felt like when I saw you, I slowed down. I took my visor up. I was very compliant. I don't really know why I was.
I understand that. So the reason that I brought you to the ground is because it was a robbery with a gun, right? So I don't want you. I didn't want you dilly-dallying on your bike. I wanted to get your hands behind your back as soon as I could, right? And I would have knows to take you down. So
okay, if I could put my phone on and call my dad.
Thank you.
Yes, that's fine. That is completely fine.
The lies that the officers told were not, as part of any police investigatory work. It was just part of a cover-up. So what they told our client is you matched the exact description of the bank robber, which he didn't, and you were at the exact location of the tracker, which he wasn't.
The inclusion of riding a bike being part of the description was just a complete lie. There was no information or basis shared from which to conclude that the bank robber was traveling via bicycle. And when Myers told this kid that the bank robber had been tracked to pretty much the exact location he was in, that was also not actually true. The tracker showed that the bank robber was stationary for at least 2 minutes prior to the stop, exactly at the location of a Starbucks.
Boulder's a town of 100,000 people. It's a college town. It's a pretty low crime area. When something like this happens, when a call goes out on the radio that there's been a bank robbery, people just get hyped up. I mean, these officers, they have too much adrenaline going. They don't have the discipline that they need to handle a situation like this.
Tracker 1240.
Shut up. Shut up. You want problems? All right, perfect.
People go into policing to do the right thing. They want to stop crime. They want to make our community safer. And then a lot of the day-to-day work of policing is not that. It's, in a city like Boulder, it's dealing with homeless people downtown or just dealing with very, very routine complaints. And then when there is a real crime, you see this overreaction. And this is a story that's repeated itself in our community several times.
You want to serve the community. You want us to trust you. You realize that you screwed up, that you endangered somebody that you're sworn to protect. You actually hurt this kid. You've got the wrong person. You know that 100%. And yet you still don't do the right thing. It's just the culture. The culture of tackle first, ask questions later.
Hi there.
Hi.
This is Galileo.
Hi.
Hit his head when I was bringing him to the ground. He was wearing his helmet, but he says his left side of his head hurts a little bit. So.
Okay. Did you lose consciousness or anything?
I just got dizzy. It was just, I don't know, it's like a lot of concussions in the past and head trauma and stuff. So.
Okay. But you were wearing your helmet?
I was, yeah.
Okay.
I'm just gonna check your vital signs. Can we get this off?
Yes, sir.
Does anything else hurt?
No, just my head.
Which side or where does it hurt at?
It hurts right here. It's kind of pounding. Dad, it's kind of really important. Can you not call me back?
I got water leaking at somebody's house.
Sir, you're with the Boulder Police Department. It's kind of important.
Okay, I have a flooding house right now.
Okay, Dad, whatever. I'll call you back.
No, 5 minutes, okay? Back 5 minutes,
Yeah.
okay?
How old are you?
17.
Okay.
Lane traffic.
That's fine. Yeah, if you want to bring him up to the ambulance.
Are you in contact with your mom?
So what? I'm just gonna call her, please.
Okay.
Hi, Mom. This is kind of a serious situation. Dad's really busy. I just got falsely identified as a bank robbery, so I don't know, person, and the police came and tackled me off my bike, and so now I'm kind of just sitting here, and Dad's busy, and I don't really know what to do.
Okay, I'll be with you. Just breathe with me for a second. Are you in a safe place right now?
Yeah, I'm just being checked out by medical. We got through it, and they know it's not me now, but I hit my head pretty hard, and I don't know if my bike's okay. It was sliding on the ground on the throttle, from what I can hear. No, I'm not. I didn't do anything wrong. I was falsely identified as the bank robber, and I got tackled off my bike, and pinned me to the ground and handcuffed me without saying anything because I thought I was the person with the gun. And I don't know, since you are not up in town, Dad said he's going to call me back. I think I'm just going to call some friends that are in town to see if I can get someone here, maybe get a ride, or just figure out what I'm going to do next.
Hey, miss, this is Officer Myers with Boulder Police. I can speak with you in a second. He is with paramedics, so they just have to ask him a couple questions. You can stay on the phone, that's totally fine, but they just have to do their assessment real quick, and then we can get you back with your son, okay?
Okay, can I talk to you while they do that?
Yeah, absolutely. You okay if I talk to your mom? Okay.
Okay, so, I'm sorry.
I'm Officer Myers, so I can explain the whole situation. So we had an armed robbery. He's fine, yeah. So he was wearing his helmet when he got taken down to the ground. I'm sure he's shaken up, right? Like it's a pretty scary situation for her that he just went through. Physically, he seems fine right now.
No medical problems at all? Very healthy guy? Take any meds?
No, I don't take any meds. I've just had injuries in the past before.
Okay.
I had a protruding disc in my neck for a while, and I did physical therapy for that. So I'm just ready.
Concussions and stuff? Is that what you're
I've
talking
had
about? So you know what that feels like?
Yeah.
Okay.
Was your bike moving?
Not really. I kind of came to a very slow stop because he was right in front of me. He was blocking it, and what was going on? I didn't want to get tackled. He just put me on the ground.
They lie to his mom as well and tell his mom that so our client had on teal pants, tell the mom the suspect had on green pants and a gray sweatshirt, and that just wasn't true.
So what happened was there was armed robbery with a gun down at 28th Street Mall, okay? The bankers had put a tracker inside of the money. The tracker was moving up towards the hill up in Boulder, and it was moving at a speed consistent of that on somebody on a bicycle.
Officer Myers spoke with the kid's mother and continued to mischaracterize the events leading to her son's arrest, falsely claiming that they were tracking the suspect at a rate consistent with the speed of a bicycle and that his clothes matched the suspected bank robber.
The description was tan clothes and green clothes. He's wearing green pants and like a tannish brown hoodie. And the tracker was tracking to his exact location on the hill. So that gave us reasonable suspicion that that was the suspect. So we got him so we found your son at underneath the bridge, and we ended up having to take him to the ground and put him in handcuffs. He's out of handcuffs, and now he's with the ambulance right now, or the paramedics right now.
I grabbed some of my water.
So he was on his bicycle, and just giving that there was a gun involved in this robbery, we didn't want his hands, we didn't want to have him standing up, so he was taken to the ground so we could get his hands and get him in handcuffs. He had, also, miss, he had his helmet on. We didn't know he was a 17-year-old kid, right? He had a helmet on with a... So we can definitely take him to the hospital if he chooses to. We can let you talk to him as well. He does have his bicycle. He said he was going to call his friends. I mean, is there anything you would like us to do? Also, I can, if you have more further questions, I can provide you my supervisor's phone number as well, so you can speak with him. Okay. His name is Sergeant Marquez. It's standard practice. If somebody claims injury, we call paramedics. No, he does not. He said he was going to get a haircut. Yeah. I mean, this happens. I don't really know the exact protocol. Since he's 17, we decided to contact you. You'd have to speak with my supervisor about that. Yes. Okay, your mom's on the phone, your dad's just calling now.
Hey, Dad. It's okay, Dad. This is Officer Myers, Dad.
Hello, sir.
Hi there. Am I understanding my thing correctly that he was tackled by Boulder PD?
Yes, so there was an armed robbery down at 28th Street Mall. at a bank. Bank employees put a tracker in the money, so we were tracking the money, and it was on that consistent of somebody was on a bicycle. So we tracked it to the Broadway College area and on the hill in Boulder. Suspect description was wearing green clothes and green to tan clothes, and the tracker was, which is what your son is wearing. He's wearing green pants and a tannish brown hoodie. He was on a bicycle. The tracker was tracking to exactly like right where your son was at the Broadway College underpass, and he matched that exact description of the armed robber. So we contacted your son at the underpass underneath. He was on his bike, and we ended up taking him to the ground and handcuffing him. Pardon?
I said why? Like, I understand your whole story, but seriously, dude. Like, there's how many people on bikes riding around on college campus and you tackle my son?
So your son was wearing a helmet, so we couldn't see who he was, correct?
Okay, so you understand how wrong that was, right?
I mean, if you wish to speak to my supervisor, you can definitely do that.
I'll definitely be speaking to your supervisor. Please make sure that you give a card with your name and badge number on it. Did you tackle him specifically?
I'm not able to provide all that information, sir.
Who can I get the information from?
I can refer you to my supervisor. Officer Myers. Yes, sir. I do not provide my first name.
Officer Myers, please provide a card to my son.
Yep, it's already been provided, sir.
You're not going to believe the story I'm about to tell you guys. This is insane. Thank you. Go ahead.
All right, it's Sergeant Marquez.
Sergeant Marquez.
And
Marquez.
MARQUEZ.
Okay.
And the phone number. I have a supervisor here right now if you'd like to speak with him. His dad.
That's him?
Yeah, his dad.
What's his name?
Galileo.
Hey, sir, Sergeant Steve Weber, come over, please. Hi, how are you? Good, how are you? You probably are aware that we had a bank robbery. We kind of matched the...
What's that?
What's that?
Parents are super upset, understandably. So Sergeant Weber's talking to Dad right now.
Okay.
I don't know what.
Where did Marquez leave?
I think he's at the Moxie.
Okay, so you don't need a supervisor.
I do need a supervisor. I'm the one that requested one, but Faber showed up. So.
Yeah, but you have him.
I do. I'm good now.
What about any police reports in this case? I mean, often in these situations, like we can read the police report and it just doesn't match up with reality or what we see on the video. Was there any of that going on here?
We don't have a police report from the stop of our client because they didn't ultimately bring charges.
Anything else I can do for you right now, sir?
What's that?
Yeah, I'll get the phone back to him.
Hey, can you do me a favor? Can you go see if there is a backpack in Walgreens and let's buy him another backpack? Because I cut it, I'll pay you back. But if you can see if there's backpacks in there, it'd be great.
Anything for me? Anything you need?
No, I mean, Mom was just asking if we could give him a ride home or what he was supposed to do. But I was like, he's on a bike. He said he's gonna call friends. So
He's medically cleared?
yeah, I think so. Is he medically cleared? Is he good?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna talk to Dad and make sure you're gonna release him.
Okay.
Who was the officer who was responsible?
So the officer was Officer Myers, and then his sergeant was Sergeant Faber. Myers, after they realized that they have the wrong guy, Myers is feeling bad about what he did. He also cut Leo's backpack off his back, and then Sergeant Faber tells him, I wouldn't do anything different. You should do it just the same way again. There was a bank robbery.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm good.
Scrapes?
Yeah.
Doing great, so.
No, like I'm more worried about the kid, right? I feel bad, but
Hey, we just had a bank robbery.
I know. He matched the description, but still,
Yeah, I mean, what do you
like,
do?
I have
Just here. Just keep up
I
the
have
good work.
I have Bailey going to buy him a backpack because I cut his backpack straps.
Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it.
Okay?
Sergeant Faber urged Officer Myers not to admit fault, telling him that he did nothing wrong and that he wouldn't change it for anything.
I wouldn't change it for anything.
I appreciate that.
And you know me, I'm a straight shooter, I say it like it is.
Yes, sir.
We had a bank robbery, matched the description, did what you did.
Yes, sir.
So, all right?
Appreciate it.
I get it. Been there, done that. But I'm here for you if you need something.
Okay.
You need me here?
I'm good.
If he's medically cleared and he would like a ride home, we'll give him a ride home.
Okay.
We'll figure something out with the bike.
Okay.
But if he's medically cleared, if he's okay biking home, he wants to do that, fine. If
Okay.
he'd rather get a ride from us, we'll make it happen.
Okay. Sounds good.
Let me know if you need something.
All right. Thank you.
I think it's a cultural issue here with policing. I mean, there's a need to say, you know what, we made a mistake. It's something we can apologize for and own and move forward. But instead, the culture of the Boulder Police Department, and I think realistically police departments around the country, is just that. It's justify.
Nothing? I was talking to them.
Our ambulance is parked like fairly close. We'll probably go hang out there, but he'll have his phone and stuff, so you can call him and let him call him, and we can figure out like where we can rent to get him back to you, if that works.
What's that?
Part of the SWAT team.
I am.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. It's pretty cool.
There you go.
Hey, Dad. Alright, love you too. So I'm just gonna wait here with you guys.
Yeah, and if you want to like get out of the underpass, we can. If you're anxious, we can walk it off. You can go chill in the ambulance. We don't have to stay right here.
Is your dad gonna go pick you up?
Yeah.
Okay. How far out is he?
20 minutes, he said.
20? Okay. All right. I'm gonna go try to buy you a backpack because I cut your straps. So I'm gonna go find you a backpack to buy you. Oh, I feel bad. So if I'm not back in time, then we'll figure something out. But I'm really sorry, Galileo. I hope you can forgive me, man. Like, I'm sorry that we had to do that to you. But do you have any questions?
Is there any way I can get the body cam footage?
Yeah, so we're going to be doing a report of everything. Your parents have the case number. They can request a copy of the report. Probably by sometime next week.
Sometime next week,
Yep.
we get the footage?
Yep, I can't just provide it to you right now because it's not even uploaded. So
that's fine.
Let me see what I can do. And get you a new backpack and then we'll be back, okay?
Sounds good.
All right, buddy.
And then if you want to see where we're at, we're 4. So if you can see on your CAD where we are, we'll be with him until we clear the call.
Okay, cool.
So as long
Thank
as
you.
we're attached, you can just
that?
try to get us on the radio.
I'll do something.
No, we're good. Yeah, you can just do stuff. Thank you.
Thirteenth, 1275 13th Street. Let's hit Broadway if we can.
Did we check his backpack?
No, I didn't look in it. He was super guilty the whole time. I never said that wasn't me.
That's sick.
What's the picture look like of this dude?
I can't say for sure that that's the dude.
Let me see.
It doesn't look like him.
Watch it, watch it, watch it! The car's coming in hot.
Yeah, it's one of our cops.
I know, sorry.
Can you go into the Moxie, see if that guy checked in there?
Is this him right here?
That dude?
Let's contact him. Hey. Have you seen this picture? contact.
Hi, sir. How you doing, man? Did I scare you? How are you? What's your name, sir? David. David? Nice to meet you. My name's Officer Mastrona.
125, show us out on a contact, Broadway and University, north of West Side.
So we just had a robbery down the road. What's up? Okay, so the reason we're talking to you is because we got a photo of a suspect from a robbery and you look
You mind just hanging out over there for me? Thanks.
So that's why we're here. Just any questions about that? That makes sense. Okay, what's your first name? David. David? Okay. What were you doing before this, David?
No.
Nothing whatsoever? Do you mind if I do a pat down for weapons? You could say no, but it makes me feel better. So. Yeah. That's okay, or yes is it? Okay. So what I'll have you do is I'll have you stand up and face that window for me.
Let's walk him over here so we don't get pushed into traffic.
Yeah.
David, if you could just walk over here for our safety.
Okay, go ahead and play your shoes. Interlock your fingers behind your head for me. Separate your feet, okay?
You have money here? How much do you have? What is a couple hundred?
You mind if we take that out?
Hold on. Don't. Did you ask him if you could pull it out?
Can I check it?
You already got me there.
Is that a yes or no? Can I check how much money do you have?
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Say no.
Do you want to say no? You can say no at this point. Is that a yes or no?
No.
Why not? That's okay. You don't need to answer. Let me take this stuff here from you. I would put him on handcuffs and I wouldn't check anything else.
I didn't see the picture very well.
I can show you the picture. Hold on.
125, we're gonna go code 5.
They did it in a reasonable way when they found the actual suspect, but when they were going for the complete wrong suspect, like they did it completely excessively.
They took a totally different approach with him. You know, approached him carefully, asked him to stand up, asked him some questions.
What did he say?
He's not really saying anything. He's pretty nervous. He definitely resembles the picture. The problem is we don't have these just keep it up in his pockets. Cash out.
Did he give it?
He didn't give it.
Does he have cash in his pocket?
He says 100.
I mean, I think you've got enough for a search warrant.
We find it yet? Do we need to fly a drone in this area to see if he pitched it somehow?
I mean, can't pitch it high. Like I'd do a really good canvas around. Let me brief you.
Yeah.
Brief detective going off, or at least just going on mute. Man, that picture very much resembles him.
Oh, yeah, sure. Nice spot, boss. Good job.
It's not just me, it was a team effort.
You guys are all awesome.
Mulhall was thinking the guy might have been on a bus,
Yeah.
which is why he was sitting here.
Poor guy on the e-bike.
So they had someone from the bank come by in a police car, make sure it was the right person, and only then did they arrest him.
Did they ever like reach out to the family, the parents, and apologize or anything like that?
No, nothing like that. In Colorado, there's a law that if there's a complaint that's filed, the police department's required to turn over all the body cam footage within 21 days. So it's really pretty amazing and helpful law.
That's great.
So, yeah, so Leo's father put in the complaint, got the body cam footage. Months and months and months later, a letter saying they had completed their investigation. The sergeant who prolonged the detention, they said that was against policy. The officer who tackled Leo, they said they thought it was justified. But there was no accounting for lying to him, no accounting for just having the wrong person and causing this kind of damage. So no, there was no apology or anything like that.
The city of Boulder declined to comment, but Boulder Police Department did conduct an internal investigation and found one sergeant should have released Leo after officers realized he wasn't the suspect. The other officer, who told Leo he matched the suspect's description, but he actually didn't, was cleared of wrongdoing. Both of those officers are still employed by Boulder Police.
As you can see from the photograph of the actual bank robbery suspect, he looks nothing like Leo. A lawsuit has now been filed on Leo's behalf against Officer Myers and Sergeant Faber. It alleges that since the incident, Leo has experienced ongoing physical injury, emotional distress, anxiety, and trauma. It further alleges that the aggressive manner in which BPD officers tackled and restrained Mr. Wise caused him to suffer a concussion, and as a result, he is more susceptible to future concussions. Additionally, the lawsuit alleges that the whole experience of being violently apprehended as a bank robbery suspect was so psychologically damaging to Leo that he was actually unable to complete his senior year of high school. Leo's lawyer explained that the lawsuit was filed in Colorado State Court because qualified immunity has been abolished by their legislature in state court.
So we filed in state court in Colorado bringing state constitutional claims, and we did that because Colorado, as part of the same law, actually, where they required body cam footage to be released, they got rid of qualified immunity in state court for actions under our state constitution. It's a much more effective way to litigate civil rights cases. Also, our state courts here, unlike in a lot of states, state courts move incredibly slowly and the federal courts move faster. It's actually the reverse here. So in state court in Colorado, cases are getting to trial in a year and a half. In federal court, it can be 3 to 4 years. So, for both those reasons, we brought the claims just under state law in state court and Boulder District Court.
The lawsuit asserts two causes of action: wrongful arrest against both defendants and excessive force as against Officer Myers. Wrongful arrest because Leo was tackled to the ground, handcuffed, and detained for an extended period of time, i.e. arrested, in the absence of probable cause that he had committed any arrestable offense. Excessive force because of the manner in which that arrest occurred. Officer Myers clearly acted excessively. At all times, Leo complied with every instruction that was given to him. When he saw the officers running at him, he stopped. He showed his hands. He was 100% compliant and posed no threat to the officers. Yet he was violently taken to the ground and restrained as if he was a violent criminal. This was unnecessary and excessive. Even had a reasonable mistake been made as to whether he was the guy that they were looking for, this could have been resolved with a conversation rather than just immediate violence. But the worst part about the officer's conduct here isn't the mistaken identity, the wrongful arrest, or even the excessive force. It's what happened after they realized the mistake had been made. As is too often the case in these sort of mistaken identity cases, instead of doing the right thing after they realize their mistake, these officers instead demonstrate a lack of integrity and honesty, and they begin to lie. Initially, they lied to Leo about why they tackled and arrested him. Then they lied to Leo's mother. The supervisor on scene, Sergeant Faber, is caught on video instructing his subordinate to lie and to not even be sorry about it, to admit nothing.
Keep up the good work.
I appreciate it.
Okay? I wouldn't change it for anything.
I appreciate that.
This is a case where the police need to own up to their misconduct and take responsibility for what they've done, and that's why Leo wanted us to bring the case, and that's why we brought the case for him.
Yeah, a common theme that I've seen in these sort of mistaken identity arrests or seizures is It's not so much the mistake, the initial mistake that happens, because all right, in the heat of the moment, as the courts say, like, we're not going to judge police officers with 20/20 hindsight. It's not really the fact that they made the initial mistake, as incompetent as it may have been. It's always what they do after they realize they made the mistake. And it's a common theme in every one of these incidents that I've covered in a video, is that without fail, every time they realize the mistake, they basically double down, or they try to cover it up. They have the option of doing the right thing. They're like, oh, my bad. And it's happened before. I've seen where they've done that and been like, look, I'm so sorry. And they take accountability for it. More often than not, they don't. And that's what immediately struck me about this one, is like, all right, they realize, and we see them on video realizing that this is not the person they're looking for, but they then choose to not do the right thing.
Just really disappointing to see the story repeat over and over and over again. And I'm sure doing this work, when you get the police officers under oath at a deposition, again, the pattern continues. It's not like in that setting they'll often just tell the truth and say what happens. It's constantly try to explain away the misconduct. And that just does not lead to a healthy culture of policing in the US, in Boulder, or anywhere else. And I do think that's one of the things we need to do as lawyers, is call attention to that and bring some accountability to this.
Liars can't be trusted. Well, it's not something that Leo can sue for. It's something that the public should be concerned about. Regular people are finally seeing that law enforcement can't be trusted to do the right thing when nobody is watching. Look at the widespread abuse of flock cameras around the country. They can't even bring themselves to not illegally stalk their ex-spouses using the flock network. Any instance of police officers demonstrating a lack of honesty and integrity should be dealt with quickly, and bad apples should be removed from the barrel. But they're not. So that leaves it to us to spread the word to each other. You can help by doing that and spreading this video to show others that even if you're not a criminal, even if you don't violate any law, even if you comply and you do everything right, you can still be victimized by the police. And it's not just innocent mistakes. As this case demonstrates, even after discovering their mistakes, police officers around the country have consistently chosen to then lie and to try to further harm innocent people in order to cover up their mistakes. Unfortunately, this is usually successful for them, and they do not get in trouble, and they certainly don't get prosecuted for their crimes.
I do think it can be helpful for someone who's been victimized in this way to assert their rights. I do think there's actually something that can be healing for people through that process, to realize, they can stand up for themselves, and they can say, no, what happened to me was wrong, and I'm going to try to do something about it. And I do think he's proud of himself for bringing the lawsuit, as I think he should be.
Well, it's fantastic that he had the option of doing that by having you and your colleagues represent him, because there's a huge gap in the number of people who want to be able to do that and who actually can do it.
Yeah, no, look, I agree. And we're happy to be able to be here for him and help him through this.
Well, Dan, I appreciate you walking me through this, and please let me know when something happens. If you end up settling the case, or something happens in discovery, or you're headed to trial, I would like to follow up on this one.
For sure. I'm happy to do it.
In my next video, I'm going to show you an even worse example of this, where officers made a mistake and they just ran with it, ruining an innocent man's life. And he never recovered, and he's no longer with us now. So stay tuned, and you can follow along by subscribing both here and at the blog at thecivilrightslawyer.com. You can follow me on X and the other socials at John Bryan ESQ. Remember, our rights don't end where your fear begins. Freedom is scary. Deal with it.